Hi, and welcome to Mentality, the man's show. Today's topic, parenting. Does the man have a role in parenting? That's what we're going to look at. My name is Ian Bogua, and with me, usual suspects, Edward Quach.
Hi, parents.
And Pastor S.
Jumbo.
I wonder what Quach is going to have to say about that. Before we hear his controversial views, let's go to the road and see what men have to say.
We as parents, I think for you to be a good parent, it takes two to make good parents. So I think a father can play the role of a mother, and a mother can play the role of a father. So we are both needed in bringing up our children. It's very important. Yeah, we play the same role.
Okay, father must be involved to enforce discipline. Your mothers, they never discipline children, but fathers are disciplined. When a child messes, I must say discipline my child.
I'm a father, and I've got daughters. I don't know that as a father, that my daughters are seeing me as the first man in their life, so I've got to be a good mentor to them. I've got to be closer to them, not just financially, but to be a good dad and a friend to them also.
Interesting, interesting. In theory, but is that what is in practice now? I won't ask you, I will ask Pastor S first. Does a man have a role in parenting?
I can't wait to hear what Quach is going to say.
Yeah, so please, let me go first, because you know what I mean?
Okay, go ahead.
I found this guy, and he was lamenting, okay? Over a drink, of course. He's on paternity leave, all right? And he's like, it's only been like 2-3 weeks. He's tired, he's sick. I'm like, what is it? Because, you know, Madame has the child in the room, all right? And when he built us very nice nursery, one of the rooms, and she's brought the child to the room, and he found it very odd that she thought it wise that when the child wakes up, she wakes up, so he has to wake up. And you know he's going to work. And he's like, why do I need to wake up? And to quote, I don't have breasts. I can't feed the child. Okay? So me, I've done my bit. See, I've given you toy. Now, do your job. Raise the child.
Is that your view as well?
That's why I'm supporting this brother. I was there, I was Ongera. Despite the fact that and sweetie, relax. You know, despite the fact that I don't have them yet. Okay? I think in terms of raising the child, the formative years, yes, of course, I'll be there, but you know, like changing the diapers and, you know, breastfeeding, such things, I can't help.
You can't change the diaper?
Huh? There's a butcher.
Gosh.
All right, let me talk to you, Quach. I wish you luck, but
I pity
just in case,
her.
just in case you get a child, you need to understand that a child needs a father in a big way. In fact, before we go even to a family where you have both parents, let me talk about these kids we dish out there, not us, of course, your type. They dish out there, they give to the women, and then they duck, they disappear. And this child has to be raised by a single mom.
Right.
Do you know how much injustice that is? That you actually did what you're calling work and gave seed. And this woman has to single-handedly raise this baby, provide sometimes, because some of your friends have to be, you know, dragged into court to be able to provide. They don't even want to provide. What kind of a man gives seed and can't support what he has given?
The kind of man who knows that woman, got seed, all right, and then proceeded to give birth to the child simply because she wanted maintenance and a roof over her head.
That's not the case. What I'm talking about, I don't think you're listening to me.
No, clearly not. Clearly
I'm
not.
saying the man needs to be involved for many other reasons. Because every child deserves a father present, not one who gave seed and
disappeared.
He needs to be there. Firstly, to help the woman. It's a lot of work. I mean, sometimes I've watched my wife with the kids, and I said, this is a lot. This is a lot. In fact, she's a gracious woman that she does all of that. And I say, how unjust can I get just to leave her by herself and go and do stuff and begin to say, I'm doing this for the family? If I'm doing this for the family, I need to be considerate enough to say, how can I help? What can I do? Of course, there are some things some of us may not like to do, but there are others we are able to do. I may not be all excited about changing a diaper. I'm talking for some of the men.
Yes.
Or something else, but there's a lot more you can do to help in that parenting.
Yes.
But anyway, in a case where the man is there,
yes.
Ian, every baby is looking up to the father. For the little girl who is born into that family, they're looking up to daddy as an other than mom.
Yes.
And at some point they get to understand, so who am I going to marry? How do men look like? What do they do? How do they behave? If that child is raised without the involvement of a father, then that child will be lost as to how to relate to men later. And secondly, the boy is looking up to daddy and to the involvement of daddy, not just a passive dad who sits there, but a dad who is involved, committed and involved, to get to know this is who I'm supposed to be. Daddy is socializing the boy into masculinity. If the man is not active, then of course we are producing passive men for tomorrow, because they'll also sit down and do nothing. It's critical, in my opinion.
It is very, very critical for a man to play a role right from the beginning. I will give you an example of myself. I was there at the birth of my children, and I have grown up with them.
So
I've
hold on.
always been there.
You see, now you guys are saying something, and let's be clear here. Are we saying that because I've seen crucial, critical, of course, and these are beyond very important. So, and of the kids that are, every year, we got the population increases by close to 1 million, right? Are we saying that all those children that are being brought up by single parent families, mothers, there's something wrong with them? They're broken.
Well, single moms have done a wonderful job, but every child needs a father figure.
So if he's not there,
that child will not have a proper upbringing.
let's be clear, there's something wrong with that child.
No,
Not
wrong.
wrong.
But
They'll be missing something that will...
They will not be complete.
They will not be complete.
Asante sana.
Because parenting is both father. There's something you get from your father, something you get from your mother.
Yes.
Even if your mother is you're from a single family. You still need somebody, even if it's an uncle, a father figure.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
So
fact,
the father
the statistics
has a role
say
to play.
as much.
Yes.
A few years ago, when I looked at some statistics from America, 72% of all the men and women in correctional facilities, they call them, in prisons, let's say, were from homes where daddy was not present. In our own country, statistics I have done with the prisoners, in 3 prisons I did, an average of 75% of the women and men I interviewed, which were more than 5,000, were actually from homes where they didn't know a father, or a father was not involved. If at all, he was passive. He was there, but not passive, not involved, nothing. There's such power of a man being involved in this relationship, in bringing up the kids, because he's an authority figure. Culturally, you're the authority in the home. When you're not there, kids feel they have some permission to do stuff. Mom will try and get harsh to try and control the situation, but she's trying to cover up for your absence as the man.
Okay, but let's talk about culturally for a second, because I like it when you went there. Because, and you know, look at Ian, all right? Married man. He turned out quite all right. Now, you know, when he was born, 1926, you know, I don't see daddy being there and changing the diapers, if there were diapers back then, and nappies changing them. No, but look at Ian, he turned out all right. Did you have paternity leave for the birth of your kids? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
All right,
but luckily, it was during holidays.
Right.
And I have changed diapers. I've washed my kids. Yes. I have done all that.
Yeah, did you wake up doing the breastfeeding as well?
Absolutely. You have to wake up.
By force,
No, you have to wake up.
Yes.
You have to wake up.
Yes.
She breastfeeds, then you rock the baby to sleep. If they're not, yes.
So you work together. And to answer you, I mean, culturally, fathers may not have been there to change the kids and wash them and all of that. But they were actually involved. I remember my dad, even though he died when I was pretty young, 8 years old. I mean, we would play together. He would come and ask me, how was school? What happened? He would discipline me in case I messed up. Which only a few times, quite. But he was there involved. He wasn't absent, just out in the clubs doing his own things. He was present, and that made a difference. And when he left, when he died, I actually got affected for a few years. I turned out to be a very quiet, very passive, very tentative young boy. Until in high school, when I got what he's calling a father alternative. When someone else came into my life, the music teacher, and actually began to call me out. And one of my contentions, one of my arguments, Quach, is that we now have a feminized society and feminized boys and men because of the overbearing nature of the mother because of absent fathers.
Okay, okay, but what does being there entail, gentlemen?
That's exactly what it is. Being there, playing with them, rolling on the floor with them, just being there throughout, listening to their stories. Yes.
And I like where you're going because I think I know.
It's not just a question. It's not a question of you go home. You see the kids are there playing on the carpet. You take your newspaper and you sit there. You're not there.
Okay.
That is not being there.
That's not being there.
No, that is what he's calling passive.
Okay.
Yes.
So what about I check in 9 p.m. Yeah, bring the kids. Okay.
Of course,
because I'll be trying to provide for them.
By then.
Usually they sleep.
No, then because I need to be there, wake them up.
No, that is wrong. That is wrong.
All right.
Come in early while they are still awake. Put them to bed. Read them a bedtime story. And then go to your newspaper. To help them with their homework.
Surely. Now, because, you know, we are in a society where, you know, inflation was pegged at 14.5% the other day, guys. I mean, so, and I need to provide for the pension plan because, you know, the education fund, so I need to be at work.
I know where you're going.
Yes,
you're working for them.
Yes.
No. Many kids will tell you, even from rich families, my father gave me all this. I wasn't interested in that. I just wanted him to show me how to play football. Yes.
I wanted him to be a father.
I wanted him to be a father. I wanted him there. I didn't want, I mean, you know, you can buy your kids all the PSs, all the phones and everything. All those things to keep them occupied. That's not what they want. They just want you to make a ball with them out of socks and fool around with it. Many of our parents are too busy. They're leaving the raising up of children to maids and the teachers. That's what I'm paying you for.
Yeah,
which is really, really wrong. Yes. We're going to take a break now and then hear from a mother. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching Mentality. Today we're discussing parenting, the role of parenting. Does a man have a role? According to Quach, once you've sired, you step back and it's the woman's role to bring up the child. We have a guest in our studio, but before we go to the guest, let's see what the women on the street have to say.
I think they should be involved in bringing up children because their presence is there. I mean, the children need a role model. A father is a very good role model to children. Yeah, he's like protection. Yeah, they need protection from him. Yeah, they need to feel like there's, I mean, security from both parents. Yeah.
Okay, personally, I feel that fathers should be involved fully in bringing up children. It's not only giving money. They should be there for their children in all ways.
Fathers should be involved in raising their children so that they can be good mentors to boys, and they should also grow together with the children.
Faith Kamanda, a mother of 4, stay-at-home homemaker. Karibu to the show.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've been watching the first segment where it was just men talking. Does the man have a role to play in bringing up the child?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a very important, I mean, a man has a very important role in that from the time the child is born, the man must be fully involved. And this is what I'm talking from experience. When my children were born, from the firstborn, my husband has been there. In fact, he was involved in cutting the umbilical cord with the doctor. And I can tell you, this was amazing because after that, they cleaned up the baby and he actually removed his shirt and they started bonding. And this psychologically has been proved that it really helps the children to grow with a lot of confidence and a lot of security from birth because they feel the love of not only the mother who has been carrying them, but even the other person who actually now sired them. Was he there for all the 4 cuttings? Well, unfortunately, I had to go through CSs for the other 3.
So you were saying, just for Coach to hear well, number one, this did a lot for you. To feel that you have support, there's someone standing with you, you're not in this alone, that really helped you, boosted you as a woman, as a mother. But secondly, you're saying it works for the baby as well, in terms of confidence, feeling accepted, and just knowing I have a daddy, because the daddy is involved right from that. Absolutely. And I'm sure he has gotten involved even in all the... I just want to ask a question, Faith. So you're a stay-at-home mom. Yes. And Muse, I'm assuming if he works, does he? And okay, fine. I loved that whole, he took off his shirt and it brought a tear to my eye. Now, does he? How old is the youngest, for example?
The youngest is 9 months. 9 months old. Yes.
Is Muse back at work? Is he back at the office? I'm assuming yes. Yes. And so, what time does he come back home?
He comes back home around 6:37.
6:37.
Yeah.
And then what does he proceed to do?
He removes his clothes because he knows he'll be messed up. Immediately he comes in, hugs everybody, heads to the bedroom, changes and gets into his casual wear. So now it's time to roll down. Yes. And he rolls with them, then he takes his vegetables, then he takes his main meal, and we share together. And immediately after the brushing and the routine, now they come back, they know that he's a priest of the home. So he takes up his Bible stories and he reads for them. And then he prays over them before they sleep. And it's amazing, Kwach, let me tell you. We can maybe be involved in a church meeting and we come late. And those children will not be able to sleep through the night before they have seen their dad. And especially my son, who is my 3rd born. He will still wake up around somewhere in the night because he missed the ritual of being put to sleep.
You said something very interesting there. You use the word routine.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's a chore.
It is not. It's not a habit. You just have to make it a good habit. Yes. It's not a question of once in a while.
Not like the same comparison, but you know what? I like to go to the toilet, okay, but I've never called it a routine. Okay, so listen. So let me just ask you then. So Faith, now, if for example, when he does all of this with the kids, right? And from the firstborn to the younger one, if we were to remove the time spent, do you think that would affect the kids?
It will definitely affect them. What I said was, my 3rd-born son, if the dad does not, I will pray for him, I will read for him the bedtime, but if the dad does not put him to sleep, he will wake up somewhere in the night calling up daddy.
Because there's a lack of connection.
Is that then not unhealthy?
It is very, very healthy, Kwach. Let me tell you why. Because there is that, actually what Pastor Bevy is saying. He's saying that
Who's Pastor Bevy?
Oh, Pastor Simon.
Oh, sorry. All right. Okay.
All along, wait a minute. We've been doing this show all along and you never know his name.
I like what you're saying. Let me just add something to it. Kwach, it's been proven. Being a counselor, I hear these stories all the time. There are 3 things especially children need from a daddy to be healthy psychologically. One of them is when they're involved with daddy, they feel they have identity. There are many kids out there, many people out there all looking for that in sex and other places because they never got it at home. That's why as dads, we give our names to our children. We give them identity. And if we are not there to support that identity, kids feel lost in many ways. I mean, I've met grown-ups who are still looking out for their daddy because they've never met them. And they still feel, I want to know where did I come from because this man never got involved. But number two, just you telling your child regularly and doing loving things with them and telling them you love them, it does wonders. It gives security to a child. That's why divorce, they say, messes up the security of a child. They just feel like what is going to happen. Let me finish the third one and last one.
Yes.
I know you're dying to counter this.
Yes.
But the last one is, besides the love, besides the security, is the affirmation. When daddy is there to affirm the children, and you can't affirm them unless you're involved, to tell them, wow, I love what you did in school, or I love how you did the other, blah, 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 affirming them, letting them know that the most powerful man in their lives actually appreciates them and thinks they're great. That does wonders to kids.
Okay, you know, this is clearly a unique scenario for me because, you know, one, obviously, I'm not yet a parent that I know of.
And you're not ready to be a parent at this rate.
And then there's a scenario here because Ian, I know you're very close to your kids.
I am.
Clearly, you're close to your kids as well. And he's close to everything. But, you know, now, you know, but I've got to ask then, is there a minimum time limits for this routine on a daily? For example, if I put in my good 5 minutes a day.
No, that is not enough. That is not enough.
No.
That is not enough.
Yeah.
You must
but it's
make
daily.
time.
I do it every day.
It doesn't matter. 5 minutes.
Okay, let's
out
10.
of 24 hours in a day.
Let's give them 10 minutes.
What? No.
Okay, the
when you
program,
come
24, half an
home,
hour.
when you come home, it's no longer your time.
Yes.
It is their time.
Yes.
Right up to the time they sleep. After you've put them to bed and they sleep, that's when it's your time. That's when you can grab your paper and watch your movie. Before that, it's their time.
Girls grow better in their formative years when they have a present father.
Absolutely.
It's because this is the only person, this is the person who they can explore with in a safe manner. Because this is a time, like from 4 years, you realize girls get very close to their fathers. They want to sit on them. They want to actually hold them. They want to touch them. That is now when they are exploring their sexuality. You can imagine if my daughter came here and started sitting on you and you'd feel weird, isn't it? So that is why, I think God in his wisdom provided fathers to be there for them so that they can be able to develop in that manner for their sex, in a healthy way.
Okay, fine. So I've got to ask you this one then, because there, like Pastor Simon said, there are a lot of single mothers out there. What do you tell them about their kids?
Well, I feel, some of these things, circumstances can force you to be in that situation. But as Ian commented and said that they need to look for an alternative father figure. Maybe an uncle. That would be a safer, safer father figure, so to say. But everyone should look for a father figure for their children.
Safi. Now, you know, even those alternatives that we come up with, because, you know, that uncle, that's obviously the conservative approach, because then what we say is just go get yourself a man, all right? Because uncle cannot be there 24/7. He's got his own life, yeah? But do you also agree then that, you know, there's something that is not complete with these kids from single-parent homes?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Just like what they were mentioning earlier on, I want to say that I have encountered that. And I can tell you there's a lot of dysfunctionalities, unfortunately, in these children. And what I would really want to advocate for, if you're able to bring up your children, both of you, please do it and do it well. Because it is not only, it's a selfless act. To get children and raise them up, it's quite a selfless act. But I'm telling you, I have noted, I also talked to a boy who comes from a very rich background, and he was in drugs. He has moved from all these B schools to B schools and to wherever, and he has not been accepted because he has been looking for attention from the father, who is a politician, who is very busy. And so what he was saying is, I just don't have a father. Whatever he does provides for me, a driver, all those things, and he just He's not there for me. So it is so sad. I can tell you it is proven that these children have a lot of dysfunctionality.
And when they grow up, when they're 18, 19,
they
break off relations with their father.
Right.
And you will get to a point where a man is trying to be a father at that age. It's too late. It's too late. You didn't grow up with them. It's too late.
Yeah.
I have a very good relationship with my daughter.
Yes.
She's 18, going 19 now. We hug. And it's because I've grown up with her. I've always been there for me. So we talk a lot. And people are really surprised at our relationship. I've gone to places, she's gone to places where somebody sees her and says, oh yes, I was with your brother the other day. Me.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Because they can't understand how these two, they're always walking together. They have so much to talk about. And then you see others, fathers are driving and the daughter is behind.
Yes.
Yes. No communication.
Yes.
And then later on, the man will try and say, I don't understand this girl. I've done everything for her. I have provided this and that and the other. And it's completely broken, the communication between them. It's because it was not there right from the beginning.
If you don't get to bond with your children,
you're in trouble.
If you're going to get them, you're going to be in trouble as a man.
Are you wishing that I'm important, pastors? Because you're saying if I'm going to get them. Freddie's all right.
But you also need to understand. You also need to understand that you're very important. If I'm encouraging you.
Yes.
You're very important as a man in that relationship. When the kids come, your work is not over.
Right.
You're their king.
Right.
You're their rock. You're the person they celebrate. Give them a name, but give them involvement for the rest of their lives.
Come to the end of it. Final words.
When she gives birth, put them in the other room, okay, until at least the child stops crying, and then let her come back into the master, and life will go on. And try your bit to do that routine thing, okay?
Pastor S.
What I would tell the men out there, let's be the fathers. The fathers our children deserve, the fathers this country is looking for. Let's father our children, let's be man enough to brave the crying baby and be there to help when necessary. It takes a real man to do that. Be that real man and support your woman.
Thank you. Faith?
Well, I am calling, I'm making a plea to all those fathers, to all the fathers in this Kenya, in the continent, in this world, to take up their responsibility. Please don't be an absentee father. Those children need you.
Thank you very much. Fathers, it is your role. Bring up that child the way you want, and you will be happy. Don't let somebody else do your work for you. With that, we come to the end of Mentality. From all of us, kwaherini.